are establishing a relationship with a dog. So when you first get a dog, it's a down and a recall, right? Then the next thing is this, a balance. Right? When that dog can do that and understand what it's at, that's the next step. Took it right out of my mouth. Next step is
Hello, folks, and welcome to the County Sheep Podcast, episode 34. My name is Ruth, and I'll be your host. My podcast is about crocheting, knitting, spinning, and all of the shenanigans I get up to in and around my small sheep farm in Vermont. And if you're new here, welcome. I'm glad you joined us. And if you're a returning viewer, as always, thank you for coming back and enjoying my content. It has been a minute. I had planned to kind of get a podcast in last week, but things got a little crazy in the lead up to going to Rhinebeck, otherwise known as the New York Sheep and Wool Festival. And so because of that kind of craziness, I wasn't able to fit it in, but I'm here now. So, and I have a whole bunch of things to share with you. Kind of a small recap. You'll probably have seen some footage in the front end, probably Vermont Sheep and Wool Festival footage, courtesy of my hubby, Ed. And then on the tail end, I'll be putting in some footage from Rhinebeck, the New York Sheep and Wool Festival. Also, within the last 3 weeks, I've been to a full week knitting class with Donna Kay at Harrisville Designs, and I'll be sharing that with you also. So a lot going on. It is the season to do all things woolly and to get all of your, how shall we say, supplies in for the winter, right? So first up, what I'm wearing, for those of you who have been with me, this is my ranunculus. I started it earlier this year, and I made it in Hope Made Yarn Company, Splendid DK, which is an 85% extra fine merino, 15% nylon, and it is next to skin soft. It's wonderful, and it's in the colorway Sweater Weather. So I'll just stand up. I had the enormous pleasure of meeting both Hope of Hope Made Yarn Co. and Keisha, and they are together, Pine Barren Knits. They have their own podcast here on YouTube. I encourage you to go over and check them out. I really, really enjoy their podcast. So I'm going to stand up. So this is my ranunculus. I believe I did show it before, but it has such a nice fit to it. And the yarn is just gorgeous. So, and it is so appropriate. The colorway is so appropriate for this time of year. So you have all these lovely autumnal colors happening. So yeah, never thought I'd make a ranunculus, just because it seems like everybody has made one. But this is a very well-written pattern and well-tested, of course, because so many people have made it. So if you find yourself, looking at some lovely yarn, it can be done in all weights from fingering up to bulky, I think. So you have a wide range of choices in yarn weights. So yeah, so that's my ranunculus, and it was lovely to meet the ladies, Hope and Keisha from Pine Barren Knits. Yeah, it was a good time. So I'm going to jump right into my crochet knitting content, and then I will show you my haul from both the Vermont Sheep and Wool Festival and the New York Sheep and Wool Festival. All right, so the first thing is for crochet, I have a bunch of finished objects, which is wonderful. And I want to show you this one. I showed this last time. It was finished the last time, but it wasn't blocked and the ends were not woven in. So this is a mystery crochet along, just recent. It was put out by Vicki Brown Designs. So now everything's been blocked and the ends woven in, and I'm happy to say it really bloomed after I stuck it in some water. So yeah, there is a lot to be said for blocking your knits and crochet items. So this is made in Vicki's own hand-dyed yarn. There are 3 colors. The main color, which is this kind of minty green color, is called Pre-Height. And then the dark green is Malachite and the pink is Ruby. I think there is a definite right and wrong side to this, and I think I was showing you the wrong side. So it really runs the gamut of all sorts of really neat crochet techniques. You've got color work going on in here. You've got some filet crochet going on in here, some solid areas, some mesh areas, and a lot of shaping to boot. And I did indeed went with the border. So I went back and did the border, and I'm glad I did because it's got this lovely scalloped edge on it. Yeah, so I'm so happy with this. I was wearing it on Sunday at the festival this week until it got a little too warm. We've been having a warm spate of weather up here. So yeah, very, very clever and very wearable. So I'm very happy with that. It's a nice design. I'm not quite sure how the mystery make-along pattern thing goes. I'm not clear whether Vicki is going to keep the pattern under wraps for a bit or if she's just going to release it soon. So this is the Oblique shawl. So if you want to keep your radar out for it, definitely a fun make in terms of crocheting. Yeah. So yeah, that's my first finished object. My second finished object, which I've been working on since I'd say around June. These are the long-awaited Janie joggers. So let me just kind of show you them here. And as you can see, both legs are done. And I did indeed get to wear these this past weekend at the festival, along with my next item that I will show you. These were an absolute hoot to make, and they fit so well. And I have to tell you, even though it warmed up on the day that I was wearing these, they did not get uncomfortable at all during the whole day. And what I did have to lose was the sweater I had on because that I think that was what was making me really toasty. But this is a pattern by Courtney Clark of Tinderbox, and it's done in Jaggerspun fingering weight yarn, and it's their 90% wool, 10% silk, which gives it such a nice feel. And the colorway is called River Walk. Now, Jaggerspun is going out of business. They announced that a little bit over a month ago now. So I haven't checked their website recently or before I came to record. So I don't know whether they have any of this left. But they do still advertise this weight of yarn and this style of yarn. So if you want to make something out of this yarn, I would run, not walk, to the website and buy what they have, because I think the closing will be early next year. So, but yeah, I will put a picture in of these on my body. after I show you my other finished object, which is my Rhinebeck sweater. I decided that's what it was, but it was also a sweater I started for the Woolly Thistles sweater make-along, which is coming to an end. I think they're having a cast-off party this week, Tuesday, over Zoom. But I wanted to get this done before Rhinebeck so I could wear it to Rhinebeck. This is the Driftwood Pullover by Krochets, but as you can see, I made it into a cardigan. And like I said, this is Krochets, otherwise known as Kayla Wood. And this is in Tunisian crochet. So you can see all this nice texture. I had a number of people stop and look and feel the cardigan when I told them it was indeed crochet. Here's the back. This yarn is Mountain Meadow Cody, which the Woolly Thistle carries. The colorway is Spruce. It is a 100% merino yarn. It's a sport weight. Here's the label. And it is grown on Camino Ranch in Buffalo, Wyoming. And I don't think it's superwash. No, I don't think I hope I didn't say that. It's hand wash only, lay flat to dry. This has been blocked. It took a while to block because this has quite a lot of texture, and the texture tends to hold the moisture a lot. So yeah, and I found some buttons in my stash, so unfortunately I can't tell you where I got them. I think they've been sitting in my stash forever, but I love the little houses on the buttons. And I used another one of Kayla's patterns to figure out the buttonhole placement, and I only decided to go down halfway because I never button my sweaters down in this section here. It's just not what I do. So I just went halfway down with the buttons. I had 5 buttons total, used all 5 buttons, and I was a happy girl. So yeah, so that's the Driftwood Pullover. That's how it's listed and how it's made. But like I said, I just divided the the front into 2, and used the rest of the pattern the way it's instructed, except for the button band, of course, and also this neck shaping up here. That's another thing I borrowed from one of Kayla's other patterns, was how to do the neck finishing. But everything else is the same. So yeah, very proud of that. And I will put a picture of me modeling both this sweater and my Janie joggers here. So yeah, we had beautiful weather this past weekend for the festival. And so as the day warmed up, I did indeed I had to lose this sweater. It's very cozy. It's quite a cozy sweater. In knitting, unfortunately, I have no progress on my Warf Street vest, if you've been with me, or my the shift cowl that I was doing, one of Andrea Mowry's patterns. The Warf Street is by Elizabeth Smith. And so now that I have all these things done, I'm going to start concentrating more on that, as well as selecting another crochet project to do. So I think I'm actually going to go back to some of my other whips in progress for crochet. So you'll see those coming out as well. I do want to share what I was doing at the Harrisville Design class with Donna Kay, which was at the end of September. Actually, I think end of September, beginning of October. And I took a Danish sweater class with her. And the sweaters that we were self-designing, were inspired by this book, which is Traditional Danish Sweaters by Vivian Hoxbro. And I actually used this kind of vest on the front as my launching point. I used the shape of it, but I changed up the motifs. And of course, because it's different yarn, different needles, different gauge, so you kind of have to switch up all your numbers, which is fine because that's what Donna is there to help you do. Excuse me. So this is just a folder she gives out, and I just want to give you a gander at kind of what it looks like to design a pattern. There's all these diagrams involved and numbers and X's, and just trying to figure out shaping of neck. Are you going to shape the arms? Are you going to keep them as is? And then I had to kind of redo a pattern there, and then I kind of wrote everything out so that I would know what to do in case I put this away. Then there's like scattered notes all over the place, so that's kind of how the design process goes. You have a lot of numbers, but once you finally get your so to speak final numbers, you just kind of circle them, highlight them, and that's how you proceed. So I'm going to show you what I've done so far. I am working with Harrisville Shetland yarn, and this is in the Aegean colorway. So here's that kind of blue here. So yeah, it's kind of pretty. And just want to show you my swatching. I initially went with, tried out their worsted weight. So this is kind of a yellow in the worsted weight. So you can see that the yarn really has a lot of nice definition for this kind of knit purl texture pattern. And then I went with this. This was on a US 3 needle. This is the Shetland, Harrisville Shetland, which is their fingering weight. I went down a size just to get a little more definition in the stitch texture. So this is a 2.75. And then when I actually started my sweater, my gauge started to grow again. So I actually went down to I want to say it's the next size down for the American sizes, which is a 2.25, which is tiny. But I tend to knit loose, so anyway, I'll show you this. This is the start of my kind of vest Danish sweater. Let me just stop here for a minute. I'm back. I had to let Cooper in. He wanted to be here with me recording, of course. For those of you who don't know, Cooper's my golden retriever, and he likes to be my podcast buddy. So, and you'll probably hear him panting and walking around out while I'm talking. All right, so here is the pattern that I put in kind of the center portion of the both front and back. So kind of a star. It's not quite completed yet vertically. But interesting, on the bottom is quite a bit of, how shall we say, ribbing or beginning, and a split hem on the side, which I really found attractive, especially if your hips tend to be quite a lot larger than your waist, which is the case with me. So that kind of allows the garment to lay down nicely and style nicely. So yeah, so these patterns are all in this book by Vivian Hoxbro. She did a lot of research with this particular type of Danish sweater and charted out all of these different patternings, and then also this as well, kind of this wavy textured pattern. So it's kind of like plug and play, you know, once you know kind of how many stitches you have to work with, you can kind of look for patterns that fit into that or kind of make the patterns fit to it. So that's kind of what takes so long in designing patterns. I really have a lot of respect for designers. They have to do a lot of figuring and math and spatial type things. And it takes a lot of patience. But yeah, I think I got up to about here or so. And Donna kind of checked my gauge and said, yeah, I think you better go down another needle size, Ruth, because, you know, once you start knitting and going along, I start to loosen up even more. And so I really needed to make sure that the texture was being, you know, being served with the size needle that I was working with. So yeah, interesting stuff. Stay tuned. We'll be working on that more in the future. But yeah, if you get a chance to take a design class, if that's your jam, I highly recommend Donna Kay's classes. She's very calm, very patient, and that's what you kind of need when you're learning the process. So, all right, so that's all in knitting. I don't have any spinning to report either. Like I said, I was kind of really trying to get the crochet done so that I could wear it to Rhinebeck. So I'm going to kind of go through some things I got over the festival time here. And the first thing I wanted to show you is what I got from the Vermont Sheep and Wool Festival. And this is from the Boondoggle Farm. And it is a pattern for kind of a Fair Isle hat. So I just want to show you that. They have Finn sheep, and they had a whole, I want to say basket full of different colorways for this hat. And they also have different patterns that you can choose from. So there's not just hearts, there are other things you can, circles and crosses and that sort of thing within the patterns. So you don't have, if hearts are not your thing, you can change it up. But I thought it was a nice little hat, and I got their little kit to go with it. And so these are the 5 colors for the hat. And this is a sport weight yarn, I believe. I think that's right, sport weight. It's done on a size 3 circular, yeah. So yeah, I did see them at Rhinebeck as well. So they've had a couple of busy weeks too. They were had an outside booth out in the beautiful weather this weekend. So yeah, that's www.boondogglefarm.com. Yeah, and she's got 3 different patterns for 5 mini skeins here for this hat. So yeah, the cold weather's coming, and looking forward to starting that. All right, so on to Rhinebeck, and I had a marvelous 2 days there with, I was kind of with the Woolly Thistle, kind of an ambassador for them. I was giving out bags, and we had a meetup on the hill at 1 o'clock on Saturday to meet all of our patrons, and it was really a lot of fun. I had a really good time. And, you know, it was a good kind of tired at the end of the day because you were meeting people and just kind of glomming on to their wonderful energy. And it's great to be amongst people who get it, you know. So anyway, without further ado, one of the first places I stopped at was Cozy Color Works, and they have this yarn. She's really into assigned pooling yarn. So assigned pooling is when you have a long length when you're dyeing, and only a certain part of it is like a contrast color, and the rest of it is one color. And she had a pattern that I saw that she had paired up with her yarn, which was for a crocheted scarf or a shawl. And what you did is, in the main color, as long as you were crocheting the main color of the yarn, you were just in the background pattern. But as soon as you got to one of those color blips, you made something different, which actually shows up as a flower. And if I remember, I will put the name of the pattern here. It's kind of escaping me right now. But anyway, this was one of her, just of many assigned pooling colors that she had. This skein is 1,100 yards. And I just love the green in it. And then, of course, your little pop would be all of this in here. And I want to say that, yeah, this is a superwash merino, and it's a fingering weight. So that will make one shawl for this particular pattern in crochet. But yeah, it was hard to choose which colorway I wanted. She has beautiful, beautiful stuff. So yeah, that's Cozy Colorworks, and that's cozycolorworks.com. So yeah, you can check her out online. All right, and then one of the other woolly thistlers that I was kind of hanging around with for a while, spotted, she's very much into fingerless mitts, and so she spotted this from afar, and I thought, oh, that's really pretty. So we kind of twinned up in terms of, getting this. So this is the Inspire Mittens by Catherine Ashley Wright, and it is a Utopia pattern. So it's utopiafibershop.com. She also had several colorways put together for these particular fingerless mitts. Yeah. So, and this was the colorway that I chose. I just really like this orangey red here, and I thought it would be nice pop of color. So these are 5 mini skeins. They are BFL, 100% blue-faced luster wool, and they're 88 yards each. So, so enough yarn to do the fingerless mitts, of course. And Utopia is from Wisconsin. So yeah, people come from far and wide. So yeah, looking forward to making those as well to keep my hands warm during the winter time. So that was a fun purchase. And then the other thing that caught my eye, this was a complete, how shall we say, impulse buy. I had walked into this booth, which was Sobika Farm, and they, for a completely different reason, I walked in there. I wanted to look at one of their sweaters, which was like in a blue and white colorway, which was just gorgeous. Had a nice bird motif across the yoke. And this one caught my eye instead. So not sure if you can see this, but it's Stars in the Summer Sky. And it is indeed kind of a fade pattern. It's a bottom-up pattern. Here's the back. And it was the type of thing where I was like, I'll take it. And I didn't even notice what the wool content was. I mean, I did have it in my hands and I know how it felt. So I know it wasn't like something that it wasn't something I wasn't going to like, So, but yeah, so here it is. I will show you the 7 colors plus white that's in the actual, see if I can if I can juggle all of this. Yeah. Okay. Here we go. So these are the 7 colors that are in the sweater. Oh, it's so gorgeous. And then, of course, there is the white for the color works. So for the stars and for the moon and the shooting stars and the little blips. So yeah, this is a merino as well. So I lied. This is Meadow Farm Designs. So I just wanted to get the name right because it's crazy. You see so many booths, you know, and it's kind of like a blur after a while. So yeah, and this is a cranberry, gooseberry, blueberry, blackberry, raspberry, tayberry, and this is elderberry. So yeah, these are the colors. I can't wait to cast this on. I mean, this is just one of those things. It's like, oh my gosh, that's so beautiful. I can't stand it. So yeah, so that'll be, yeah, a new, I have to get something off the needles before I start that. So I'll probably be working away at something else. Probably the Warf Street vest will get done first and we'll go from there. And then I saw some really fun bumper stickers that I thought, oh, those have to come home with me. So first of all, there's this, because I like to represent the crochet. And then there is this one. I knit so that I don't kill people. And then this fine one. I have this in a t-shirt, actually, spinning because knitting isn't weird enough. So yeah, a little humor to the whole craft and my personality. So that was only day 1. That's what I got on day 1. And then I decided that my spinning was not represented at all in my purchases. And so when I went back on day 2, only spent a couple hours there on Sunday. It was a lot lower key on Sunday because it just, you know, Saturday is like the big podcast meetup day and, you know, show off your sweater day. And I think Sunday is a more family focused day. So it's a little less frenzy, a little less crowded. And the vibe is actually a lot more relaxed, which I really liked a lot. So going into Rhinebeck on the second day, you really had more time and more focus on things, and you could get in and out of the booths a lot more easily. So the first thing I bought was something from Peterbrook Farm, and this is a spinning fiber. This is BFL, and sorry for the rustling, but I just want to open it out for you a little bit. This is 8 ounces of a hand-dyed roving. So very pretty. Yeah. So one of the woolly thistlers had bought some from Peterbrook Farm on Saturday, and she showed it to us on Saturday night. So I had to go over and check them out on Sunday morning and try some of their stuff out. I've worked with their yarn before. It's gorgeous stuff, but I had not worked with their fibers. So yeah. So stay tuned for that. And then I went over to the Four Hearts Farm, and they're out of Maine. And I was intrigued. I saw this on Saturday, and I thought, what is that? They're calling this 100% NSW Shanika wool. So I had to ask the owner. I said, what is Shanika wool? She said that Shaniko, I'll show you the name here if it'll show up. Shaniko is actually the name of the company, but what they do is they source the fiber from, conscientious, so it's consciously sourced fiber is what I'm trying to say. And so it's kind of a mixture of rambouillet and merino. And then the owner of Four Hearts Farm dyes it these wonderful colors. So yeah, after I picked up the blue, I needed something to, you know, contrast. So I went with kind of a pinkish yellow. These are all 4 ounces. So I have 12 ounces, or no, these are all 2 ounces rather. So 2, 4, 6, I have 6 ounces. So we'll see what that all grows up to be on my spinning wheel. So yeah, lots of fun at all the fiber festivals and other goings on. So packing all the good warm wooliness in for the winter. Here's just a little view of the program from the Rhinebeck Festival. So yeah, lots of fun there. Well worth the trip. But if you go, like I said, Sunday is kind of the more chill day out of the 2 of them. So, and that's all I have for this time around. I hope you're all well. Thank you for joining me here. And I will stick some footage in at the end of the New York Sheep and Wool Festival. And until the next time, stay well, keep crafting, and I will see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye now.